Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a whole new episode of Full Steam Ahead. I'm your host, Zo. Cantu is on the other side. Thank you for staying up. If you are staying up with us at 10:31 p.m. Central Time in Houston, Texas, it's going to be a late night episode, but it's going to be worth it because we have some, not behind some of the scenes, but we got an interview with Dana Brown, Joe Espada. We were there for the media luncheon today with the Astros, and the 2025 Astros campaign slogan is built for this. Episode 236 is going to be that title right there. We'll talk about that campaign slogan here in just a second. We even have some videos of it. We'll talk about the media luncheon. A lot to get into with topics as in Billy Wagner, Astro City Connect jerseys, Dyken Park as well, because there's still a lot of Minute Maid Park signage outside the stadium and including inside the stadium. Talk a little bit more information on that. Dana Brown and Joe Espada did meet with the media before they head down to West Palm Beach for spring training. A lot of interesting words from both the general manager and manager of the Houston Astros. We'll get with that. A little bit around the horn, not too much. They'll probably be talking about with Alex Bregman regarded to, but other than that, Angel, you want to let everybody know where they can find us, and you can even comment on what you have to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Like always, you can find us at Full Steam Ahead. That is going to be X, TikTok, and YouTube. And you can find us on FSA Full Steam Ahead on Instagram. But we're here everywhere available. You can find us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts. But yeah, it was a great day. The media luncheon was a success. I think all around, food was delicious, very informative too on what the next year comes to hold. If you were following us on social media, you saw the new promotions that they were giving out, and also kind of the new food that's going to be sold in Dyken Park. So very good overall. Let's get the show on the road.
Yeah, if you haven't tuned in and see what kind of promotional items, we'll have a little video here. The pictures of what events are going on there. I know there's going to be 2 Hello Kitty nights, 2 Peanut nights. There's going to be Harry Potter night. That's new for Houston. World Baseball Classic night. I'm guessing that's getting the start ramping up because the World Baseball Classic is next year. Going to be at Dyken Park. And then, of course, Margaritaville. Christmas in July is an interesting one. That's a new one for the Astros. So if you haven't seen it, we posted on our social media. Tune in to see it there. But like I said, built for this Astros 2025 campaign slogan. We got the video right here, courtesy of the Houston Astros. If you've never seen the video and you've been hiding under a rock, well, here you go. You can see the video right now.
The stars are shifting, but the foundation we've built is rooted in defining the standard. Success doesn't come without trials, calluses from the consistency. Our fans, they expect greatness. We demand it. The pressure doesn't break us, it sharpens us. For every early workout, every extra inning, for all 162. Reaching the pinnacle isn't luck, it's persistence through the storm. We know who we are and what we're after. You can try to shutter the Stros, but the window is always open. We are built for this.
Angel, what do we think about that campaign slogan, built for this? Seeing all the graphics, you saw Paredes in the Astros uniform, you saw Christian Walker in an Astros uniform, different number as well. But overall, your thoughts of this new campaign slogan for the Houston Astros?
I think it just speaks of what the Astros have been throughout this year, throughout the years. They've really built a dynasty in that. And for many, trading away Kyle Tucker and probably not bringing back Alex Bregman, even getting rid of Carlos Correa seemed like the end of a dynasty. But as the Astros go 2025, they feel like throughout the years, especially the last 2 years. They've battled so much injuries. They've battled not a great start early on. So I think they've have been able to win in many different ways, having many different things. So I think the slogan kind of meets that eye where it's just like no matter what it takes, they are ready to, play Astros baseball every day.
Yeah, what I took away from this is from the outside noise, from the media, the baseball media, saying, what like you were talking about, losing Kyle Tucker, losing Alex Bregman. Same goes for Ryan Presley, trading those type of players away, and obviously Alex Bregman hitting free agency. You're looking at this team and you're like, it's not like how it used to be back then, like 7 years ago. Of course, the golden era Astros baseball with Carlos Correa, Alex Bregman, George Springer. You add on you add on Jordan Alvarez, and you add Kyle Tucker to the mix. Now you don't have Kyle Tucker, and like I've already listed other players before, and a lot of people are going to doubt, the Astros not being the same how it used to be. But like it showing panned right there to Altuve, the longest tenure Astro in this franchise, how it said it will always be open, and it's just letting the league know, like, yes, the Rangers have a good squad. Yes, the Mariners were right next to us, neck and neck in the AL West last year, but we're still there. We're still that team. We won the division last year. We've gone to the postseason 7, 8 consecutive years in a row. We've gone to the ALCS until that streak was broken up by the Detroit Tigers. And I think it's a good slogan for him. It's something unique, too, that you don't even see with the Astros, not like For the H or H-Town or like all, ready to rain, relentless, all this. This is something different. I've never seen something like that. And I think it's very unique, especially for this team going into 2025.
Yeah, speaking of kind of ending that playoff run early, Joe Espada did really hamper on how that kind of left a sour taste in the clubhouse, like throughout the year. So I think they want to, you know, build on what they did last year and be able to get into the deeper parts of October baseball like they're used to.
Yes, most definitely. But if you haven't seen the campaign slogan, I'm pretty sure it's through on social media. We got it on our social media as well. If you haven't seen it, like Angel had mentioned, you can look on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We were there for that. But let's talk about these promotional items. I'll bring out the video right here. Won't have the sound on because I don't want to hear the blaring sound, but got a little bit of good little promotions going on right here. You got the Hello Kitty plush, Jordan Alvarez and Josh Hader bobblehead. The Jose socks. I think that's pretty unique. Margaritaville, Orbit's birthday, Pena, the pink Hello Kitty jersey in the background. And they got a lot of unique stuff. I like that Charlie Brown in the back too. That's really cool. I've never seen something like that. I don't think I've seen any teams do that. But me as a big bobblehead collector, man, shoot, I like that Jordan Alvarez celebrating that cycle one.
Yeah, I think really great promotions for all the fans to enjoy. Yeah, so when they start releasing those tickets, if you are an Astros fan, start getting them now because I know when it was that Barbie night, I was walking down the press box and those lines were packed. So get yours early.
Yeah, that the first Hello Kitty night, if I'm not mistaken, was pretty damn packed itself. I think they had like a special ticket, like usually like that Charlie Brown at the end. I think that's a special ticket.
It's an add-on.
Yeah, it's an add-on. That's what I meant to say for fans that want to get like that type of bobblehead or like that type. With the Hello Kitty, they've done that. They've done the Friends Night's usually been a bobblehead. But the ones that weren't shown, there is a Jerry Pena retro basketball jersey, of course, with the guy that has the most muscles probably on that team. He gets a basketball jersey with his name on it. You got a Hunter Brown replica white jersey. Of course, you saw the socks. They got a Jose Altuve white and pink throwback jersey. What the throwback is talking about from like 2010, 2011, 2012. Those years, which we'll talk about that hat too later on through the show, with that clubhouse hat that we had posted on our Twitter. And then last but not least, we'll go with the Toad Purse and a Jose Altuve bubblegum bobblehead. So like Angel had mentioned, if you got to look on these schedule and make sure you get those tickets now, so then you won't have to be rushing and trying to figure out when tickets go on sale. And next thing you know, you won't be able to get whatever you would like.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of great stuff. I think on social, a lot of great reaction for the promotion. So there's uh, a lot of exciting fans out there that are ready to get their hands on the new promotional items.
Yes, definitely. But the biggest thing I would take away, besides, Spada and Brown talking to the media, Billy Wagner's number 13 will be retired in August during Hall of Fame weekend. Very much so. And
Deserved. Yeah.
we've talked about it too, me and you on the side of like, well, Christian Walker just got that number 13 jersey during his introductory press conference. I wonder if the Astros are going to retire that number since he's been elected to the Hall of Fame, or how is that going to go? Well, the answer is there for you. We were there live for it, and Wagner will be the first Astro to have his number retired since Craig Biggio in what year, Angel? A little bit of trivia real quick this night.
2008.
2008, August. And I want to say it was the midweek too. August of 2008 was the last Astro to have his number retired. Real quick, another trivia. Wagner's number is what number retired by the franchise?
I'm trying to remember how many circles there are up there. I don't know. Tell me.
It is 10. He will be the 10th member to have his number retired, joining Craig Biggio, Jeff Bagwell, Jimmy Wynn, Nolan Ryan, Mike Scott, Jim Upright. Come on. I mean, Jackie Robinson, I would say, is there.
Jose Cruz.
Jose Cruz. Glenn Wilson.
I think so.
I'm not sure.
Larry Dierker up there?
Yes, Larry Dierker's there. I think J.R. Richard might be the last one. I don't have it right in front of me.
Yeah, like I think you're right, J.R. Richard.
I could be right. I could be wrong. So I don't have it right in front of me, but that's great for him having his number retired. And Christian Walker, like I mentioned, had 13 in his press introductory conference, but now he will be moving to number 8. Can't remember the last Astro wear number 8. If I had to think of one, I think of Mark Loretto.
Yeah, I was thinking Marwin, but Marwin was 9.
Marwin was 9. Hunter Pence was 9 as well.
Hunter Pence was 9. Yes.
Let us know in the comments if you know this too. I mean, I know for sure. And what you watch me like know for sure, and it's not even Mark Loretta is not even number 8. But let us know in the comments what do you think about Billy the Kid getting his number retired. You're gonna head out to Cooperstown too. He will be getting elected into Cooperstown in July. The Astros were going to celebrate him, and with that in August, and the middle week part of August, I would say, for Billy the Kid. But much deserved. 13 will be going up in the rafters of Daikin Park.
Yeah, I think well deserved on that end. I think a phenomenal job for the Astros for making it happen as well. It's never easy when someone gets the same number as being retired. Like, for example, the Yankees retired number 8 twice. So, but the fact that Christian Walker was, willing to move to, willing to change number to number 8 speaks volume about him as a player. But very deserved for Billy Wagner. I think waiting 10 years to get into the Hall of Fame, waiting anxiously, knowing that he deserved to be there and to see his number retired, to be part of Hall of Fame weekend, that's pretty phenomenal, pretty special for him.
Yes, and speaking of him, he was at TriStar, the collector show in Houston this past weekend. We were there for the interview, so if you haven't tuned into that interview of him being able to experience Cooperstown, being the third Astro to go into the Hall of Fame, wearing that hat, make sure you go listen to that interview on our YouTube channel. But let's move on to another thing I think Astro fans are going to be excited about, and it's the new City Connect jerseys. The Astros will be the first team to announce their City Connects and display them before the 2025 season. And I think there's 8 teams, if I'm not mistaken, for this year. But the Astros will use these new City Connects for the next 3 seasons. And you will see the debut of these on the field on March 31st on a Monday against the San Francisco Giants. I wonder if Justin Verlander is going to be pitching that day or not.
Yeah, City Connect Mondays will be back for the Astros. Now, we didn't get a sneak peek or anything like that, so we have no information about the City Connect jerseys. But I mean, everybody from the front office seemed excited to announce this, so I'm sure it's something great that all the fans are gonna love.
Yes,
what do you think? What do you think might be a part of it? Like, if you had to guess,
they already did Space City. So if I had to guess, maybe something more of a tradition like 713, kind of like the culture of Houston. Like I would say something like that.
I was thinking maybe the Astrodome or something.
It could be the Astrodome. I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe a Cole 45 kind of themed jersey
Yeah.
to reminisce back in them days. I'm not sure. Let us know in the comments too what y'all think could be some of these ideas flowing in for this new jersey. Obviously, the jersey's already probably been produced, and I'm pretty sure the team has already seen it. But just let us know in the comments. I don't know. I'm not sure what it's gonna look like. Like that's a good guess, honestly. Like the Astrodome, I went more of a culture standpoint. Like if the U already did Space City, I wouldn't, be shocked if they did something more of like Houston base, So
Yeah.
I think something like that.
You know, what if they had like some purple jerseys? Because of like.
I don't know about that. I don't know about the purple. They're looking like the grimace out there, man. I don't think they want to start looking like that. So, but yeah, March they will reveal. I don't know what day. We don't know what day in March. They haven't told us a specific day. They just said March will be the reveal.
It will be before opening day, though.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. It'd be before opening day. I'm pretty sure lines are going to be crazy. Like the first time the City Connect jerseys were announced for Space City. So make sure you just tune in on that.
We do have one comment. Tequila Sunrise has to be in a mix or Shooting Stars.
I do like the Shooting Stars idea, actually. I'm a big fan of a Shooting Star jersey.
Or
I think, if I'm not mistaken, that could be like the 60s or 70s.
Yeah, I've always, growing up, the navy blue ones with the golden star were always pretty nice.
So the basically the 90s jersey.
Yeah, the 90s jerseys. Yeah,
it'd be interesting if they can, incorporate some type of Tequila Sunrise in there. The red, yellow.
You see, orange. But they already do with their Sunday alternate jerseys. You know how it's the navy one with the side ones. That's it.
That's true.
That's the only thing I gotta say. And I have another comment saying it's got to be the red brick throwback.
Interesting. Hey, them hats came out, and I was like, hold up. The red bricks, them jerseys are coming back. Hint, we don't know.
And I feel like when the City Connect jerseys were becoming a thing, there was always, not always, but for the most part, there was always like a leakage of how the jerseys were going to look. I wonder if that's going to happen this year with the Astros second jerseys.
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. I would not be surprised, but it won't be us for damn sure. I'll tell you that. If we ever got a sneak peek, we wouldn't blare it out, show it out to all of y'all. So sorry to say that.
I say the Tequila Sunrise with a Shooting Star, so kind of second on that.
Yeah, so kind of both. So, man, I don't know. I don't think like the Drayton McClain era of those red brick jerseys, the gray jersey and the pinstripes.
Yeah.
I don't think that makes an appearance back. I just don't.
No. Okay. I mean, could be.
I mean, I'd rather do a Shooting Star than the red brick, in my opinion. I'm sorry to say that, but I'm sorry to say that. But moving on to the stadium name, Daikin Park is moving in officially. Minute Maid Park signage will be moved away by opening day, and removal of the signs will start as early as tomorrow. If you're listening to the podcast in the morning, it's going to be today, but February 5th, as early as tomorrow, from the exterior part of the ballpark, meaning the signs outside of the stadium, not inside the stadium. And of course, everybody wants to know what the train's going to look like. How is it going to be come 2025? Well, they really didn't tell us either. The only thing they really said that it's probably more than likely it's getting refurbished and it's going to be revealed on opening day. So that whoever's going to opening day, that's the only time we're going to see it and kind of like be surprised what it's going to be like. But it's going to be a tribute to the 25 years of the ballpark. They did also show I don't know if it was a patch angel, but you saw the 25 years with the, with the tower on top. And that one looked nice. I don't know if they're going to have those patches on the jerseys, but it would look nice if they did.
Yeah, because they usually have the sponsorship now where that patch would go. So it'll be interesting how they do that. But my bet is, again, first of all, the train is here to stay, right? How Lorenzo was saying, the train's here to stay. But I don't think there's going to be oranges anymore on there because it's not Minute Maid Park. My bet is that on the back of that train, it's going to be carrying the sign with the 25 logo. So it's going to be the conductor train, and in the back carrying the 25 logo. That's my bet. I don't know, but that's what I'm guessing at.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, what do you think? How they're gonna hold that up?
Well, it's in a little cart. You know how they put the little oranges on there?
Yeah, but it's gonna be that thick though, if you think about it.
Again, we'll see. They'll probably make it work or something.
Nah, if I had to guess, maybe they take away the oranges. They throw a little bit of snowballs on there since we're talking about Havoc and ACs.
HVAC, yeah.
HVACs, halves, or whatever you want to call it. And I think when the Astros hit a home run, I wouldn't be surprised if you see like the little snowflake pellets that would, if it's snowing outside.
Yeah, I got you.
Something like that I would see. That would kind of incorporate, I would say, more of the AC cold kind of thing.
Well, we'll see if it's going to be cold in the press box for sure, because those summer days get really hot.
Well, let me tell you that. I mean, shit. During FanFest, it was pretty damn cold too. So
yeah, that is true.
But what is up? Locked on Astros, Jose. It's going to be a Daikin Park jersey. Imagine the City Connect jersey 2.0 is going to be a Daikin Park. And then Locked on Astros hat side patch for sure. Yeah, I would like to see something like that. You don't see that now with the patches because of the sponsor. And then it usually has like the team patch. Like for instance, the Cubs. The Cubs have the Cub logo right there. And then they have their sponsor patch. I think their sponsor is Motorola, if I'm not mistaken. So I like to see that because it kind of commemorates that whole season for 25.
Yeah, but I mean, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, like, we didn't really get any update on any jersey tweakage or anything like that. So I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah.
Are we moving on to Dana Brown?
We are going to move on to Dana Brown because I think that's everybody wants to listen to. If you haven't seen it, from Brian McTaggart to Chandler Rome, all the beat writers were there asking questions regarding different numerous topics, because that is going to be the last time, at least for us, we're going to see them at spring training. We won't be attending West Palm Beach, but we will be there for the whole full season when they come back to Daikin Park. And from the beginning, before the media had talked to him separately, Dana Brown did mention he is committed to winning while working on the present and the future. Now, obviously, trading away Kyle Tucker, not re-signing Alex Bregman at this moment, and trading away Ryan Pressly. You got guys back like Cam Smith, who is now the number one prospect in the Astros farm system. You got Isaac Paredes for 3 more years under control, and Hayden Wesneski as well. And then with Juan Bello being from the Ryan Pressly trade. We've talked about this numerous times. Kyle Tucker, in my opinion, is not going to come back to the Astros after that Juan Soto signing. I just do not see it. I don't think the Astros were going to even give him that type of number. Seeing the whole kind of Jim Crane era of giving guys contracts before they hit the free agent market, and it's always been in the 150 area. You have yet to see someone go over 160, 175. So I just do not see it. I thought the team-wise did a really great job getting players back like Isaac Paredes. You put that at third base because you didn't know what was going to happen to Alex Bregman. You bring a guy like Hayden Wesneski that's going to be either a reliever, but the Astros right now are looking at him as a back-end starter in that starting rotation. And then you got a guy like Cam Smith. I mean, this guy is really regarded as one of the best prospects in Major League Baseball. I think he's number 33, if I'm not mistaken, in Baseball America. Dana Brown also called him a, quote, aircraft carrier. I mean, he's seen a lot of great things of that kid. So you kind of help up the farm system. Juan Bello, we could just talk a little slightly because we did talk about him in the last podcast episode. But yeah, like I said, Dana Brown, he's committed to winning, working on the present and the future.
I think what's going to happen this season is you're going to see a kind of even blend of veteran guys and young guys, and they're banking on the young guys more so on the bullpen. As you can, I'm going to use Mason Miller as an example. Almost won Rookie of the Year. Now, I'm not saying the Astros haven't done the next Mason Miller under, but what I'm trying to say is that these young guys are being able to make an impact on the team a lot earlier than what's usually been traditional for baseball. So I think that's going to be banking on a little bit of developing of these young guys like a or King in a bullpen. Kind of eat some meetings up, get them to Brian Abreu and Josh Hader at the end of the game. So it could work. It's a huge risk because you never know what these young guys are capable of. Some of them are capable of great things, but some of them, it just hasn't worked out for them. So it's gonna be good to see, but it's gonna be that perfect balance. But the good thing that the Astros have is they have great veterans that can kind of guide these young superstars, which could work to their advantage.
Yeah, and I think getting pitcher like Wisniewski and getting a pitcher like Bayo is very young still, and they see him more of a starter. But the thing is, with the development, Astros have shown a really great job of doing that through year. Every year they find a way. You look at Kikuchi, for instance, for example, last second half of the season almost went undefeated through that second half. I think his only loss came to the Seattle Mariners at the end of the season. But yeah, that's what Dana Brown had mentioned. Even though losing Kyle Tucker and Bregman, they added back Paredes, and we didn't even get to mention Christian Walker.
Mm-hmm.
I say the best defensive first baseman in Major League Baseball, period, right now. 3 consecutive Gold Gloves. Plus, he has a bat. He has potential to hit 30 home runs, especially with the Crawford boxes, who is a guy that likes to pull the ball a lot. So I think the lineup is pretty good. I'm not going to say it was the best as last year, but it's in pretty good shape, and it's not far apart from like last season.
Yeah, and we do have a comment. Jose Mendoza says, "I believe in Dana. Yes, it hurts to see Astros like this, but he will get us the ring." Well, honestly, I think the Astros are in a good shape to compete in the AL West. Honestly, I think, like Lorenzo was saying, I think Isaac Paredes, Christian Walker makes this team make the Astros better. I think once the guys who are injured, like Luis Garcia, Christian Walker, and as cutters start coming in, and they're able to be plugged into that pitching rotation or even in the bullpen, everything should be balanced out from there.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I'm excited about the infield for this team because the infield didn't have a great defensive stat from last season, but bringing in a new third base coach, an infield coordinator, and all of that, Jeremy Pena could go back to that 2022 form. You can see Isaac Paredes kind of like pick up his game. He's still young, still developing. He could become a average to an above average defender in the hot corner. And then, of course, you got a guy like Christian Walker, who is very regarded as a leader in the clubhouse. You already got Jose Altuve as a leader. Now you add another leader to that infield. It's pretty damn special.
Absolutely.
But, of course, there's still questions regarding of Alex Bregman still being a free agent out there. And they've asked, I believe it was Chandler Rome that had asked about Alex Bregman, how negotiations are looking like. Are the Astros still in, still not in? Here's just a little sneak peek video of the whole interview that we have on our YouTube channel.
It's just that, we're continuing to have internal conversations because he's still available. And, we're just wondering, when he's going to make a decision. But the fact that he's available, we still have conversations about it.
How do you still try to upgrade this club here? Spring training a week away.
Yeah, we're trying to get a left-hand bat for the outfield. Most of the options are slim to none, but we're still working through it and grinding, to get some left-handed at bats in our outfield.
You said you're having internal conversations about Alex, but have you talked to Boris recently?
No, I have not talked to Boris recently, but we are still having conversations internally, and then I'll leave it at that.
Has Boris talked to Jim recently?
I don't know. Jim has not told me that. I'm sure Jim would have told me if he talked to him.
So there you have it, Alex Bregman. Internal conversations. That doesn't necessarily mean they're having full conversations of maybe a contract negotiation, restructuring that original offer that the Astros had given him. He just kind of left it at that as just internal conversations. And of course, with Scott Boras, they haven't had talked to him recently, or anything like that. Goes for the same thing with Jim Crane. In my opinion, Angel, I think they're just kind of like moved on with him. And we're not going to show the clip from Joe Espada talking about Alex Bregman, but if you go to our YouTube channel, we'll have that on there. He talked about Alex Bregman. He's like, well, he's still a free agent, but I'm focusing on these players right now because of spring trainings being so close. So, in my opinion, it's kind of like almost like the ship has sailed, but they're still open just in case something out of the blue moon, just wide open, just happens.
Yeah, if you tuned in last time on the podcast, I said if the deal's gonna get done, it's gonna be by Sunday, by a week, right? So Sunday. So that Sunday has passed. Altuve is already taking. We'll get into it later, but I think that I agree with you there. Like, I think the ship has sailed. I don't think they're gonna bring Bregman back. It's too late in the season. I think the Astros are happy with Zach Baez and Christian Walker on the corners. I think what they did was they realized Bregman wasn't coming back, so they set themselves up with the best team, with the best players available to replace Bregman and get a first baseman help. I think they did that. And I think, honestly, if Bregman signs somewhere else, I think the Astros should still be happy with the acquisitions they did in the offseason. They had a great offseason filling the needs that they had. So, I mean, at the end of the day, Dana Brown's responsible for getting a winning ball club on the field. I think he did just that.
I think, too, it's just a lot of Alex Bregman fatigue news at this point. I feel like everybody's just been waiting for him, waiting for Pete Alonso to figure out where they're going to go. And I'm pretty sure teams already have offered both Bregman and Alonso. Excuse me, but I think the Astros already gave their best offer, and they're not going to budge. They already got somebody at third base, like you mentioned, with Altuve 2 at second. You're going to hit on that later on. I'll even talk about here in a second. But it's kind of like your team's already settled. Well, if you looked in that video, Brian McTaggart had asked a question about, is everything kind of like said and done? Dana Brown kind of mentioned like, hey, we still looking for a left-handed bat, but the options are, quote, slim to none. I know for me and you, we've talked really highly about taking a risk on Alex Verdugo. And because after that, if you look at the other free agents out there really that are left-handed hitters, they're not the best. I know a lot of Astro fans have mixed reactions with Alex Verdugo. Either he's good or he's not. I already gave my opinion. I'm not going to continue talking about it, but that's a left-handed batter that's still out there in the free agent market. I just don't know if it's more of the negotiation part for the Houston.
Yeah, then they're just banking like for left-handers. They'll be banking on Taylor Trammell and Ben Gamble. No, not Ben Gamble.
No, not Ben Gamble. Jacob Melton could possibly come too.
Yeah, well, Cooper Hummel, Jacob Melton. Yeah, that was a big thing they were talking about. But I think they're going to bank it on they're going to try to fix that problem internally, because with Alex Verdugo out and Dana Brown saying slim to none, that's kind of surprised me a little bit. I was like, well, I think Alex Verdugo, like we were saying, is the best left-handed free agent available, and to say that tells me that they're not really looking at that guy.
Yeah, we'll just have to see what happens. I know there's, like Angel had mentioned, there's some internal candidates that are still on the table from AAA, young prospects that have some promising. We've talked about Zach DeZenzo looking really good in the outfield. Of course, he is a right-handed hitter, but if you're looking more into the left-handed hitters, really Jacob Melton and Taylor Trammell is really your only options, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So had to see about that. But the biggest thing, too, out of this was Jose Altuve playing some outfield. Of course, there was a video that was posted on social media of him getting some shags in left field, catching some fly balls here and there. And he's been, getting some practice in left in Dyken Park. And they asked Dana Brown, how does he look? And, at a scouting standpoint, especially because, of course, Dana Brown was a VP of scouting with the Atlanta Braves. So he does have that scouting niche on him. And this is what he had to say about Jose Altuve catching some fly balls and looking in left field.
Yeah, so it's a good question. I went outside the other day when he was catching fly balls, and I was just telling the other group that he was running down balls in the gap. He looked like he was having the time of his life. He was like a little kid out there, and his jumps off the bat were really good. And so with his foot speed, playing left field, I really think he's got a chance of being pretty good. I mean, I'm not like kidding. I like what I saw from a purely scouting standpoint. And that's how I view things initially when I first watched it. I like, oh, this guy looks good. If I didn't know who he was and I came out there and saw him taking fly balls, I'd have been like, hey, who's that guy? You know, he caught your eye for sure.
So, I mean, you heard it right there. He caught Dana Brown's eye. I'm guessing he's looking really good in left field. I did talk to Craig Biggio when it was a TriStar, and we asked him about the transition from an infielder to an outfielder, and they were saying basically like it's just the conditioning. It is the conditioning, the basically of the angles too that you got to take from left field. Of course, the wall is a factor over there at Dyken Park, but hearing that from Dana Brown, we're going to talk about Joe Espada's reaction too in a minute. It looks like they're pretty comfortable with him playing some left field this upcoming season. You're on mute.
I'll say, I mean, it's a good sign for sure that Dana Brown is able to see Jose Altuve play at left field, first of all, because at the end of the day, depending how Jose Altuve is, kind of makes them think, should I pull the trigger on this guy or anything like that? But that's a positive outcome for Jose Altuve. However, he's been practicing on a close setting, taking repeats. It's a lot different in game. It'll be interesting to see how he adjusts, for example, to the sun, and then like when they're not playing at Minute Maid Park or to the wind. That wall angle is kind of tricky too. So, I mean, it's going to be a learning curve, I think, for Jose Altuve in there, but he should be getting some reps in left field this season. That's for sure.
Yeah. For Jose too, I would say is age being a big factor too. He's not like young Jose Altuve where he was in 2015, 3-something batting average, RBIs, hits, all that type of stuff. And you put him in left field, it's going to be a lot of conditioning. So, in my opinion, what I would worry about if I'm in their shoes is health-wise. It's kind of like more of the hamstring. He's had some injury, with his hamstrings, a little history, not a lot. Oblique's another one, of course, whenever you see, you as an outfielder, Angel, because you played outfield, I played infield more than anything. Your first step is back, and then you got to have that quick movement to either left. You got to start going to the gap, or you got to start going, down the line and right.
No, yeah. Again, like that transition will be like a learning curve, but I think spring, this is coming at the perfect time where it's not mid-season. He's moving to the outfield, but before spring training starts, so he's to be able to get those, kind of get a feel for it in real game with real at bats in spring training. So I think he should be fine by opening day, but I would say it's even the first half of regular season, I'm sure there's gonna be some things that he is still gonna have to learn.
Yeah, Craig Biggio said that he has full confidence in him. And he's athletic. He's still good, and he can still do everything possible. I forgot Joe Espada did mention too was about the playing usage of Yordan Alvarez being in left.
Yeah.
You're not going to see a lot of Yordan Alvarez. I would say minimum. I think if I'm not mistaken, Angel, you could correct me if I'm wrong. It's going to be a minimum less than 55 games.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that in a bit. So he played about 55 games in the outfield. Joe Espada wants to see that number cut in half. So that's just the amount of of Yordan Alvarez, because Yordan Alvarez, like Joe Espada expressed, loves playing in the outfield. He wants to be out there, but at the end of the day, the Astros need Yordan to be in that lineup for almost 162 games. So having them, get tired in the outfield, or get possibly injured, maybe on a diving catch or anything like that, because there was that scare for the Astros a few years ago where he kind of collided with two knees on the wall. I think the Astros were trying to eliminate all that, and they're just being precaution with their franchise players. So about 20-something games in the outfield all season, your Alvarez will mostly be commanding that DH spot.
Yeah, I'd say about 30 games. I think Yordan's still going to kind of try to convince him to let him play some left. But
now
the biggest thing of them all, it's going to be Jose Altuve against some reps at left.
Yeah, and that's the plan before the season starts. But it's a long season.
Yeah,
it's a marathon. Depending how the Astros are, depending by the play of the outfielders, that can easily change. But that's just what the game plan is as of right now.
Yep.
But moving on to Joe Espada, Joe Espada is going into his second year as the manager, right? It was a wild first one, that's for sure, battling all these injuries, and going through what he did. But they made it to playoffs as successful. Joe Espada is a little bit more excited to go to West Palm Beach. He said that he's been getting messages from players already who's showing them the work they've been doing, so that kind of gets him excited for that. But he is ready to continue the winning tradition. Like I said earlier, the clubhouse was pretty upset that they didn't make it farther than the wild card series, so they're trying to change that, go back to the winning ways. But he did have a lot of questions about Jose Altuve in left field, and let's go see that video right now.
I've been working in left field for the last couple of weeks, but he continues to take ground balls. I'm not going to commit to a number of games, but that's something that we are looking at to create some flexibility, put players in a position to succeed other players that we could, take care of. We could take care of the baseball, keep guys healthy, have a more balanced lineup, offensively. Those are the things that we are looking at, and that's what we are considering. Putting Jose, getting some time in left field.
How's he look out there?
Look pretty good. I'm going slow here because he's such a good athlete that I'm not surprised by how good he's looked. But also, once you put someone on the field, now you gotta worry about the sun and the wind and the walls and all that kind of stuff. But right now, he's athletic enough to do it. In the last couple of weeks, we haven't seen why he should not be good over there in left field.
So yeah, a lot of positive reinforcement from Joe Espada about Jose Altuve. Now the question is, if Jose Altuve is in the outfield, who's manning second base? And Jose Espada was adamant that he liked Isaac Perez at third base, so he will not be moving from there. His solution was Mauricio Dubon. So Mauricio Dubon, when Altuve's in the outfield, will be manning second base unless they have somebody else manning. But as of right now, the plan is to get Jose Altuve a few games at second base and left field. And when he is in left field, Mauricio Dubon will step in at second base. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you heard him. He's not committed to how many games Jose is going to play in the outfield just yet. Mm-hmm. I think he'll get a feel of that in the beginning of the season to see how many games he can go. But like you mentioned, Mauricio Dubon is going to be a second base. I think it's a great option because he's a Gold Glove guy for a reason. He's utility man, Gold Glove, won it in 23, was a finalist in 24. I mean, he still plays great defense. He could play in the infield. He could play in the outfield. There's a lot of ways you could play and plug and play him. But the question is, too, whenever, let's say Dubon's hurt, who's going to be the next man up? And he kind of hinted at Shea Wickham. That's another guy that he thinks that could take the next step into spring training and kind of develop from last season. Of course, everybody remembers that 5-error game from him. But, of course, going into a new season, that you could just throw that out the window and worry about developing yourself into spring training. So they got their options right there just in case Altuve does move to left field. And like I was mentioning, if Dubon's not available for second base, then more than likely the Astros could be looking at Shea Wickham because remember, Greg Kessinger is not on this team anymore as he is in Arizona.
Yeah. And like I said earlier, this team in 2025 is going to be a balance of veterans and young players. And I think you're going to see that those young players have a bigger role. Like, for example, Greg Kessinger, like in June, he only started like 1 or 2 games and only played in 11 games in total coming off the bench. So I think you'll be seeing a lot of these young guys having more of a deeper role. And Joe Espada talked about that, and he's liked what he's seen. He's excited for spring training to see what these young guys produce. And here's a video of him talking about that.
So, we have a couple of, outfielders that are knocking the door, and I'm going to give them an opportunity, those guys, to compete in during spring training. Guys like the Senso and the Melton, we know Trammell and Hummel, guys who are already being in the system. But I think there's opportunities for those guys to make the club, and I'm going to give them every opportunity to make the club. Right now our lineup is very righty heavy, so that creates an opportunity for some of these guys that can hit lefty, could play multiple positions to make the club and help us, either in the starting lineup off the bench to create some, platoon, ways to win some games.
Yeah, so you heard it from Joe Espada himself. Like those young guys are going to be having a more of a bigger role there, and it's a lot of competition, especially for right field as well. Especially if you're like with the lefties that they have in the bullpen as well. There's going to be a lot of competition, and you might be seeing some new names in an Astros uniform too.
Yeah, a big prediction here. I think Zach DeZenzo is going to play a lot of games this year for the Astros. I will say I think he's going to be a huge contribution for this team. Had a great winter league over there in Puerto Rico. I can see him being a huge asset because think about it right now. I mean, we talked about internal candidates. You got him. You got Jacob Melton, who has been the number one prospect until Cam Smith came along. But he's still regarded a good prospect. The past season, in the ending of that year in AAA, he was starting to hit the ball all over the place. He was kind of a pull hitter, but then started slashing it to the opposite field. And I think that's what makes a good ball hitter, like be able to, not just pull, but being able to hit it from all sorts of places, from the gaps to the lines to up the middle the other way. So I think Jacob Melton does break the team during the season, maybe in the mid part of it. But I think Zach DeZenzo is going to have a huge step this season.
And like I was saying earlier, he has been playing left field in the Puerto Rican League, so could be, a big thing, especially if Chaz is struggling again or Jake Meyer is struggling again. I feel like they actually have a security blanket that they can plug in those young players. Before
we move on to Around the Horn, do you see if, let's say, Jake Myers is struggling, let's say Chaz McCormick is struggling, the prospects aren't hitting really well, do you think the Astros pull maybe on a trigger on a trade?
Could be. I mean, I don't think Cam Smith goes anywhere, but they do have like Pedro Leon that they can trade out, or AJ Blueball, who's not even on a 40-man roster as well. So they have some guys that they can have some trade value and get in, like an average lefty at bat there. Or again, if Verdugo's still available on the market, if surprisingly once opening day starts, I wouldn't be surprised to agree on a deal there.
Yeah, I think he's signed by opening day.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think he has to be signed by then.
I think so too. But just miraculously he's available, I wouldn't be surprised to take it on him.
Never know.
But moving on to Around the Horn, it's just one. It's about the Cubs and Alex Bregman. Like I know Alex Bregman has ties to the Red Sox, Astros, Tigers, Cubs. It's been kind of a bidding war of who's going to have the best offer for Alex Bregman, and the Cubs reportedly have a creative, potentially unprecedented contract offer for Alex Bregman. This is per Matt Trueblood. The deal is believed to be worth around $30 million annually over 4 years with multiple opt-outs. So again, it's heating up for Alex Bregman. Spring training is around the corner, so a deal should be made soon rather than later. But it'll be interesting to see who he signs with.
Do you think it's a risk if he does do something like that with these opt-outs?
I think so. Just because if he has another down year, his especially offensively, like that could kind of make cause him to make less than what he wants. So I think securing a deal with a lot of guarantee money, like a 4-year deal without maybe a mutual opt-out or something like that, could be beneficial for them.
Yeah, I think it says right there worth up to $30 million annually, 4 years with multiple opt-outs. I think that's really where I would say Bregman's alley's at.
Yeah, that's what he's been looking for. That's literally why he's been taking so long to get the best deal.
Yeah, if he's not going to get the $200 million, I would think he wants about good amount of AAV, and I think this is probably one of the best offers AAV wise. $30 million, you already big time just past Matt Chapman. Like you said, I think the opt-outs is going to be the part for me. It's like Cody Bellinger all over again for the Cubs.
Yeah. Well, again, it's just this wait and see what happens.
Yep, but we are appreciative that everybody stayed with us at 11:21 p.m. Central Time at Houston, Texas. We are finished with this episode, but if you continue to follow us at all our social media platforms, Twitter, FSA Full Steam Ahead on Instagram, TikTok, we are there as well. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. On our YouTube channel, we are posting a lot of content each and every day. We already have our interviews out with Joe Espada and Dana Brown from the Media Luncheon. So make sure you go tune into that. There's a lot more than just what we just gave y'all right there. There's a lot of talking about young prospects, talking about the rotation, talking about some injury updates. It's just a lot of informative info that you would like to know. So make sure you go over there and go check out those videos. And like I talked to you about with Spotify, we are on every podcast platform you can think of. Spotify, Apple Podcasts are usually our big ones. So make sure you go on there, download these episodes, follow us, give us a good rate, give us a good review. And we are appreciative of all your feedback. Cantu, I think everybody's ready to go sleep on this beautiful Tuesday night. Any last words before we get off?
No, just sweet dreams and peace.
Sweet dreams and peace, like you said. But if anything comes out, we'll get on real quick, break the news, everything like that. Until then, happy Super Bowl weekend. Make sure you go out there and see who's going to win, Chiefs or Eagles. Angel, real quick, Chiefs, Eagles.
Yeah, I got Eagles.
Eagles, Eagles. It's like that lady. It's like the mayor of Philadelphia saying the Eagles chant, and she said that shit all wrong. She couldn't spell Eagles. But yeah, I'm right with the Eagles too. But until then, y'all have a safe and blessed weekend. Drink responsibly. Over 21 years old, please. And we'll talk to y'all next week.
Peace.